Welcome to Checks. Today we're going to be talking about changing an adult brief. And I want to stress we want to call them an adult brief, not a diaper. We will always want to preserve dignity and respect for our clients. So today, this is Miss Molly. Welcome, Miss Molly. I'm going to show you the best way to set up before you actually change. So part of it is making sure that you have your supplies. You don't want to just go, oh, I forgot. Want to make sure everything is here. So the first thing you want to make sure is that you actually have some wipes for this. You want to make sure if there's any barrier spray that you might be using. Also, you want to make sure that the doctor has ordered this. Then, of course, you want to have your gloves, your chuck, and then your additional brief. That's for cleaning. You want to make sure that you have a barrier also where you're working. Now we have a barrier right here at the end of the bed we have set up. Here it is. It's a small one. It fits nicely on the bed because you don't want to contaminate any of this area when you're changing. Now make sure you wash your hands thoroughly at least 15 to 20 seconds prior to putting on your gloves. So I have washed my hands and I'm going to take out, I would say take out at least 3 pairs of gloves. You can always use them in another circumstance if you don't use all of them. So I take out 3 pairs, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my barrier. Now I'm going to don my gloves. Now some people have gloves that are too big. We really don't want your gloves to be too big because they actually could get in the way, and we want to make sure that they're snug. Okay, so the other thing is make sure that we have the chucks. You could leave it on the table or you could leave it down there. Now, regarding the wipes, we don't want to keep going back in when we're trying to clean something. So what we're going to do is take out a bunch of wipes, and then we're going to put it on our barrier. So, take out sufficient. There is a term that you're going to hear. It's called one wipe, one swipe. And that is very important about infection control. So, we have enough wipes. I'd rather have more than not enough. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure her clothing does not get in the way of these briefs. So this is all set up. We've got all of this ready to go. Okay, Miss Molly, what we're going to do is we're going to get your clothing out of the way. We don't want it contaminated. So make sure that you're raising this up and getting it off the area that you'll be working at. So you're going to bring it back. Your residents can bring her hands up behind her head, or at least keep them out of the way. So, making sure that we're preserving dignity at all points, keeping her covered, but making sure we don't contaminate this. Okay, so starting to take off the brief. What you want to do is pull the tab and then fold it to itself. This way, if you pull it away, it doesn't get on this other part of the brief. Now, this side. And there is a little area that has no glue, so you want to make sure that you hold it there. Now, she can either spread her legs. You can ask her to spread it. If she can't, then you can reposition them. With Miss Molly, it can be a little difficult here. All right. Now, what we want to do is set up where we pull this away, and this becomes our barrier. So, don't have the tendency to push down. Pull back, folding in, and then folding down. This will become a barrier for your wipes. You're not going to put dirty wipes over here where your clean are. You're going to make sure that this area has a quick way to secure your wipes. All right, now if somebody does have, this is an ostomy, this is for the ostomy bag. people can be incontinent and have an ostomy bag. We're not going to talk about that today, but we'll get to it. Okay, so in this area, what we want to do is start with our wipe. And we can start here and make sure that we're wiping good here. We can turn this around and go ahead and get it all the way here. Now, take this wipe, pull this up, and put it down. Again, everything's good. Try not to get your gloves contaminated. They're going to get contaminated, but let's keep it as minimum as possible. What we want to do is also clean this area of the leg. And what we're going to do is one swipe down and one wipe. Again, this area, because you can have urine around the leg, one swipe, one wipe. Again, barrier. Now, when it comes to this area, the pericure, what we want to do is we want to start with going across this area near the labia. This is the labia here. And again, go on this side, one. Now in the labia, you are going to have to make sure that you separate the labia area. So, gently, you're going to remove it here, one swipe, and another wipe. Go ahead, pull this apart, and again, remembering you're always going from the front to the back. What you don't want to do is one of these moves like that. You're going to contaminate it and you'll probably get a UTI. So again, you have this one and you're going straight down in this area. Okay, what we've had is our resident turn to the side and make sure that she is secured either with a rack, the half bed rail that she can grab onto, as long as she's secured, or maybe have another caregiver. Now, we're going to clean this area, remembering this is the front to the back, so we would never clean this way. We always want to make sure we don't go past the rectum. So, with a nice big cloth, we're going to go from the top here to the bottom. And again, one swipe, one wipe. Another one. Coming from the front to the back, again, holding this here. Now sometimes you will have to pick up the cheek of the buttocks and make sure you're cleaning in this area. Again, making sure it's all nice and clean. Here you go. Now, this is, again, the barrier is here. What we want to do is we're going to change her. What we want to do is get rid of this. So, you may bring this and close it this way, making sure that this is nice and flat. Okay? And, of course, you're taking this and you're going to roll it, roll it, roll it, and you're actually going to get it underneath her. Over here. Okay? Now, what you want to do is don another pair of gloves. Now, if there was feces, you definitely would probably change your gloves one more time. So here's our chuck and our Depends. So the first thing you want to do is you want to lay out your chuck. Now this usually goes from side to side, making sure that you're laying it in the proper area. You don't want it too high and you don't want it too low. So if you look at where the other chuck was, it's good. Now you start with what we call a little jelly roll. But once you get to a certain point and know that this is on the corner, you don't want to keep rolling because it's going to get too short over here. So I want to put this under the other chuck. Just lay it right there under, keeping it nice and straight. And then you are going to get your brief. Now, remember to pull out the brief, opening it up, making sure the tabs are at the top. What we're going to do is place it a little bit under this one, but make sure that you have enough and where the tabs are. I don't want it in the middle of the back. I want it here. Same time, keeping your chuck straight. Okay, now at this point, I'm on this side so I can roll her back. If the doctor has ordered the A&D ointment, you may spray it on, or some are that you would put on your hand, and again, make sure you create the barrier that's proper. Now what we're going to do is we're going to assist Miss Molly to roll over. We're going to place her legs here. Now, I don't want to contaminate my hands, my gloves again. So what I want to do is take this from the bottom, okay, and pull it out, cross it, and dispose of it. So we're going to dispose of it. Now, I want to roll this out. And now we're going to reattach the brief. Again, she can hold her legs up or spread them out. What you want to do is pull this brief, making sure that you make this where it has got the elastic lace flat against the leg. Now, you will see that there is a line. This is an indication that it will turn colors when it is wet. At the top of the brief, you can fold it over just a little bit, making sure it's snug enough, pulling it, start with the bottom, pull, tab it. Again, on this side, I'm going to tab it. And then on this side, we're going to make sure, and again, pull snugly. And pull and make sure it's snug on this side. So that's how you change a brief. That's how you change a chuck at the same time.